Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing a post-graduation Q&A. It was about this time last year that I was a senior in college and was majorly freaking out because I was about to graduate and had no idea what I was gonna do or what was going on. And I just remember feeling very lost that last semester of college. So I wanted to just answer some questions, put some stuff out there, and hopefully by the end of this, even if it's not necessarily the answers you want to hear, I find that just talking about it is very comforting, and just knowing that there's other people who are in the same boat as me makes me feel better. So yeah, so I'm just gonna answer some of your questions here. I screenshotted them, but I feel like I wanna do them in some kind of order. My friend Will just said, I wanna know it all. So I'm just gonna choose like my top few questions and hopefully, oh my god, I thought my phone was dying, but it was just like the screenshot. Choose my top questions because a lot of them are just like repeat questions. We'll like stick to subjects throughout it. So we're gonna start with moving. So the question is, what was it like moving to a different state? So if you don't know, right after graduation, I came home for about 10 days and then moved to Florida. I lived in the Florida Keys for 6 months. But the weird thing about that is that that was the first time I had ever been to Florida, was when I was moving to Florida. I drove down there with my friend that I worked with, and we got a job at the same resort. So we drove down together. I want to say like a 14, but somewhere between 14 and 18-hour drive. We drove down there in 2 days. We split it up and stopped at like the top of Florida, and that was the halfway point. Right. Yeah, it was a lot. It was very overwhelming, and I'm a Sagittarius, but like actually like I'm such a Sagittarius it hurts. I really love change, going somewhere new and starting something new. I love the idea of starting over. I love the idea of that. I think that's why I love New Year's, but anywho, I had a lot of fun because I felt like I was starting on this new thing. This was my first thing I was doing post-graduation. It was just really exciting. I could not imagine moving out of the country. A friend of mine just did that and I was like, moving to a different state is very interesting because there's so many different laws within that state. So yeah, it's a little bit of it was a culture shock. It was just really exciting. That was a lot of fun. That was definitely, I thought that you would think that that would be something that was very stressful, but it wasn't. It was a lot of fun. Okay, well, what's it like living at home? So I haven't lived at home for an extended period of time since the summer after my freshman year of college. So it's been a minute since I've lived here, and I have never lived at home without my sisters. Like, I love my parents. I love my parents. And I love being able to like live with them and see them and everything, because I didn't always get to do that during college. I was super busy, so I didn't come home very often. So that part's been great, but I will say it's definitely very different from when I lived here with my sisters. We all just FaceTimed last night and I was like, I miss you guys. Yeah, it's just weird being in a house and being at a job where nobody is my age. Yeah, that definitely gets a little bit lonely, and my parents and I are just on different schedules. Like, I'm kind of an early riser and they kind of wake up and then go to work. They both go to bed early and I go to bed early, but for me early is like 10:30, 11. It's definitely been an adjustment from my summer contracts and then at college where like everyone is kind of on the same schedule. Living in Florida where there was only 4 of us and we were all on the same schedule. It's definitely still been lonely, but I'm really grateful for the time that I have right now with my family, because I know that when I move to New York and eventually to California, I know that that won't be as common of a thing. So I'm super grateful that I have this time with them, but yeah, definitely hard sometimes. Okay, so the question is Grant moving to New York with you? And no, he is not. Very sad. Grant is going off on his own adventure. Grant is moving somewhere else. He's going on his own adventure. We are going to do long distance. I'm really excited to keep you guys updated on that because I think that it's going to be it is a challenge. I think it's going to be challenging, but in a way that's going to be really good for our relationship. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. But no, he's not coming with me. I wish he was. It's very sad for me, but I'm really excited for him. Okay, so someone asked, what was your job journey? So I already have kind of a non-conventional college experience, and as you would imagine, my post-college experience was the same. So I majored in theater, which is an interesting thing to major in, and the rules of the game are different than if you were going to major in like communications or business or anything like that. It's a little bit different in the way that you go about getting a job. Got a job, yeah, actually at UPTA, so that's what I'm going to this week. I'm going to Memphis, I'm going to UPTA's, and I got a job from that in the Florida Keys, so I moved down there. I lived there for about 6 months as an entertainer down at the resort. And then in October. So then in late October, I actually moved back to North Carolina. I came here with a job. Now I currently work as an associate producer and as a spa coordinator at a medical spa. And I do whatever else I can do to make money because I'm trying to get to New York. So yeah, I feel like I'm definitely at a point right now where it's like, I'm just trying to get a lot of money so that I can save a lot of money. So although like my most financially stable job would be the spa coordinator, that's what I do like Tuesday through Saturday, I do a lot of odd jobs still just to like get some extra pocket change here and there. How do you deal with awful coworkers? Yeah. I think it depends on what kind of awful they are. Like if they are just doing a bad job at their job, I would personally like report any of that to the higher being, aka like your manager or whoever's like immediately in charge of you or your supervisor. Let them handle that because it's not really your job to tell them that they're doing a bad job. Hand that off to someone else, but I definitely just don't think it's ever fair for you to be working hard on something and for someone else not to be working hard on something, and for you to get paid the same amount, be given the same amount of hours, be given the same amount of responsibility, etc, etc, etc. And once you bring it up that first time, make sure that you say everything you want to say, because I wouldn't bring it up again. It's just not your place. And so if they decide to do something about it, that's up to them. And if they decide not to do something about it, there's nothing you can really do. I don't know. I mean, if that really upsets you, find a different job. You're not a tree. Move. Okay, so then like the other kind of awful, meaning like, are they just bad people? Which is unfortunate, but like it's really, really difficult to be working with people who like maybe have a negative attitude, maybe you feel like it's a toxic friendship. They bring out a not so great side of you, whatever it is for you. If it's just like a socially bad situation, I would just remove yourself from the situation. You don't have to be friends with your coworkers. There's a whole world out there. You don't need to be friends with your 25 coworkers or whatever it is. Work together, you know, be professional, show up, do your job, but I am a very strong believer that you do not need to be best friends with your coworkers. Okay, so then let's move on to friends. So the first question is, how do you make new friends in a place where you don't know anyone? And wow, what a loaded question. I mean, I will be the first one to say that I am not great at this. All of my friends from high school that used to live here have all moved away. My current friends that I have in North Carolina are all still at ECU. And those are really the only people that I still have a connection with who are in North Carolina. So I've been pretty slow at making friends here, I think, just because I was getting settled and trying to figure things out with Grant, readjusting to like a different kind of long distance. It's like medium distance. But yeah, so I just wasn't focused on that. But now that I'm refocusing on finding friends, there's two ways that I think are the best ways to make new friends. So really the way that friends connect is because they have something in common, and a lot of the times it's just something you like to do. Try and find something around you, whether it's like a yoga class or a gym or, I don't know, a painting studio class thing, book club, like whatever it is, whatever you're into, look for those kinds of things. You can find them on Facebook, you can search, you can just Google like yoga near me, whatever it is. Normally like a yoga class, for example, if you just always go to the Monday at 6 o'clock, the same people are probably always gonna go to that Monday at 6 o'clock. And so after a while of you doing that, I mean, or you know, like the first day, just go and introduce yourself to people. People like to stick with a schedule and they like to be consistent about things. So when you start going to group activities or clubs or anything like that, you're gonna see the same people and you already have a similar interest. You already have something to talk about. So I just feel like that's a super easy way to insert yourself into a friend group. You can go to the 6 p.m. yoga class and maybe you'll find that it's all moms. Okay, go to the Tuesday at 7. You know, just like switch it up until you feel comfortable in your space and you like the people that you're around, and then you can expand out of there and start introducing yourself, talking to people, and then like 3 weeks later you're getting coffee with your new pal. So then the second way to make new friends, through this lovely thing called the internet, which is actually how I've met a lot of people in Raleigh in like the past couple weeks, is just through Instagram. I forget where I heard this quote, but I remember this quote where someone was saying it's called social media. It is called social media. So be social. Slide into people's DMs. Comment on their picture. You don't be weird about it. Don't be weird, you know? We've all gotten that weird DM and been like, I know people in Raleigh who are like friends of my friends. I've reached out to people that way, or just like commented on their picture and then they reached out to me. Wherever you are, however you're feeling, there is someone else there in your exact same situation. A lot of the girls that I've reached out to in Raleigh have all been like, yes, I am also feeling lonely. Yes, I also just graduated college. Yes, I also just moved into my home. You know, so whatever it is. But a lot of people are in the same boat as you. I think Instagram's a great way to connect with people. Oh, okay, this is a good question. Do you feel like you've lost friends since graduation? Yeah. Absolutely, I have. Yeah, I think in college it's a little bit different. When you have class together, or maybe you live near each other or whatever it is, and then you move far away from each other. Yeah, I think that there's definitely people that I'm not as close to now. There's definitely people that I have not talked to since graduation. Every now and then I'll reach out and reconnect, or they'll comment on something that I posted. People who matter, you make time for. So like my absolute best friends in college, I still talk to on a daily, weekly basis. My absolute best friend Will, we talk all the time. There have been times where we are having a conversation on Snapchat, on Instagram, texting, then like 20 minutes later we're FaceTiming. You know, so like there's definitely people that you make the time to talk to, and Will lives in New York. We're kind of doing that like long distance friendship. Another one of my best friends, Jessica, she lives about 2 hours away from me. We talk on the phone and we'll catch up like every 2 weeks. So it's just about making time for people. No, that's not gonna be everyone, and it's probably not gonna be the person that you sat next to in your math class in college. The people that matter, you just like, no matter how busy you get, you have to make time for them. But yes, I've definitely grown apart from a lot of people since I flipped the thing on my couch. Let's do long distance relationships. Grant and I did long distance. He lived in North Carolina and I lived in Florida. Now we're doing like a short medium distance. We live about an hour and 30 minutes away from each other, probably less than that, like an hour 20. So I see him a lot, but during the week I don't see him at all. Come fall, we're gonna be doing very long distance. That includes time zones. So that's my long distance story. How do you prepare for a long distance relationship? I think this is such a good question, because what I found was that one of the most important parts was preparing for it. Before I moved to Florida, Grant and I sat down and came up with a plan of like how often we wanted to talk. Tried not to put a lot of pressure on like when we would talk, because we just both knew that when I got there it was gonna take probably like 2 to 3 weeks to really settle in and to find a schedule, and then we would from there kind of pick it up. But we knew that already. The first 3 to 4 weeks is just hard, especially if you're moving to a completely new space with a completely new job. You're probably gonna have like no idea what's going on, and that's okay. So yeah, just give yourself the freedom to move around. Our plan was to talk once a day or once every other day, but never go more than like 2 days without talking to each other. This was the plan before I moved. And then to FaceTime once a week. So that plan did not happen. Actually, we talked like way more than that. We texted like a good portion of the day. We FaceTimed every morning and every night. So we actually talked face to face, which I think is super important, not just talking over the phone, but if you have access to like FaceTime, really talking face to face makes such a difference. So I guess, yeah, just like what is the everyday communication like? So I think the most important thing is to try and talk every day. I think like it would be very clear that both of us should make sacrifices to make this work. If you were gonna go out with your friends, go out 30 minutes later and talk to me first. I think another big thing that really helped out me and Grant was that we never hung up the phone angry. Grant and I like never fight. Neither of us are like fighting people. We'll have disagreements and talk it out, but I'm not a yeller. We got in one disagreement when we did long distance. Don't hang up the phone angry. Don't go to bed angry. Something that we did, which just like kept everything fun, would just like randomly send gifts to each other. So like you're already saving a lot of money because like you're not going on dates. Sending them like, I don't know, that book that he said he wanted to read or whatever it is, you know, but just like sending them little gifts, or even if they're like funny, like inside joke gifts, whatever. Amazon literally has 2-day shipping and saved my life. Get Amazon Prime. Keeping everything fresh is probably the biggest challenge. If both of you guys are showing an effort, you're gonna be okay. It's all about putting in the time and putting in the effort. What is the hardest part of post-grad life? It's very lonely, and there's no longer anyone telling you what to do. You're just kind of like sent out on this adventure by yourself, which sounds really great. Yeah, it's just really scary, and you just have to do a lot of stuff by yourself. And maybe this isn't everybody's situation, but like for me, I just had to do a lot of stuff by myself, which is good because I feel like I've grown as a person. I feel like I've really figured out who I am as a person, and I've been able to set different goals for myself. Yeah, this has definitely been like the loneliest year of my life. Yeah, so then the next question, someone said, what is your favorite thing about post-college life? And I think that that is just that there's so much opportunity to do literally whatever you want. It's very scary because there is a lot of opportunity and you can do literally anything you want. Like I could literally move to Idaho tomorrow if I wanted. The fact that you have so much freedom is like very daunting. But it's so cool, I guess, is the, oh, that sounds so lame. Realizing, you know, like I don't really have to do the thing that I majored in college. I don't really have to do the thing that I said I was gonna do 5 years ago. Like the doors are open, I can do whatever I want. Realizing that just gives you so much freedom in your life. I feel like the pressure is off. I feel like the drama that I had in college is gone. I feel like the pettiness that I had surrounding me is gone. That sounds bad. I loved my school. I really did. I really loved my school. I really loved my training, and I loved a lot of the people that I went to school with. But yeah, there was definitely a handful that I'm honestly just happy to not be around, because for me, it makes me feel better as a person. I feel like I've grown more, and I feel like the pressure of having to be liked by everyone is just gone. It doesn't matter, it's gone. The pressure's off and the freedom is there, and now you can actually do what you want to do. So thank you so much for watching this Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any more questions, please comment them below, or you can also always DM me on Instagram. If you guys liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and never forget to love the life you lived. Bye guys!